Do you really not see yesterday as a line in the sand? Before he could argue it was Biden's, and now he has to, whatever happens, good or bad, own that?
Well, I remember that, and I will say this, in the Biden administration, when it took a downturn one day, and you all just called it a correction, and there was never really much any mention of it. So it's really a double standard. Yeah, and everybody knew it was going to take a hit.
That's Republican Congressman Tim Burchett making CNN host and woman with an unfortunate sounding name, Casey Hunt, squirm after he called out her network's blatant propaganda and politically biased BS over the last 4 years. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and it looks like the people who've been screaming for decades about how the stock market isn't a measure of the economy suddenly want you to panic because of an anticipated dip over President Trump's tariffs. Here's Burchett pointing this out to Hunt, who clearly wasn't ready for him to turn the tables on her.
Is this Donald Trump's economy now?
Well, I don't know that I'd call it that. Are you going to
Really?
call it that when it turns around? I mean, I haven't seen on CNN too many times that y'all had a panel railing on Joe Biden when the average American, well, average East Tennessean was paying $600 more a month out of pocket because of crazy deficit spending that we were doing and sending money overseas, borrowing money to do that.
I don't know.
And
I've got a former Biden aide
inflation.
sitting next to me. You can't see her on camera, but she is definitely nodding that we, in fact, she was in a number of tough situations where we talked plenty about those
no,
issues.
You didn't, ma'am. Joe listen.
But seriously, my question
Biden
stands.
Was mentally incompetent, and you all would never. You would always deny that, and you would talk over.
We
people
started
when
on
they
the
talk about
economy.
that.
That's
Knows
what we were focused
that was
on.
the biggest
Okay?
cover up.
Sir,
and that's been done.
But
so.
Donald Trump.
You know, I don't know why, but watching Hunt talk about that staffer felt a lot like listening to Jane Brady brag about her imaginary boyfriend. I mean, even if that person does exist, the conversation about Biden and the economy certainly didn't manifest on air. In fact, the exact opposite seemed to happen. Her and her network gaslit viewers about the economy, and anything that was so bad they couldn't cover up, they blamed on President Trump's first term. Which of course is funny considering that they then immediately shifted and wanted their viewers to panic at every market fluctuation because apparently, unlike with Biden, the economy became Trump's the moment he returned to office.
But Donald Trump has been out there saying, this was Biden's economy. This was so bad. Like, the eggs are so expensive because I haven't had a chance yet. And voters are willing to give new presidents the benefit of the doubt in those circumstances.
Economists will tell you you can stack up a group that'll say no, and the other ones will say yes. That the market is not really a good indicator. I noticed we haven't mentioned the job growth that's happened, the so-called surprising new numbers, and I'm sure that people will say that's just Joe Biden's economy that Trump has inherited. But in fact, that is an indicator of where things are headed, and I think things are headed to more manufacturing in this country. You've seen major car manufacturers announce billion-dollar investments in this country. You've seen that across the board. In Tennessee, for instance, we're booming, and we're the number one depository of U-Haul trucks and trailers. And they're all leaving California and all the other border states to come here. So,
all right,
I think that's a good indicator.
Burchett is absolutely correct that establishment media would rather focus on short-term noise over the long-term wins. I mean, I'm no expert, but this looks an awful lot like Wall Street overreacting when it had trade war jitters in 2018 and 2019, and what followed was a 30% surge in the S&P. Yet I don't see any economists on CNN or legacy media discussing this, or how markets always seem to rebound after these tariff shocks. I mean, there seems to be a legitimate argument that this could just be the cost of fixing a broken system, and new factories, wages, and real growth will outshine all of this short-term panic. And the reason for that, of course, is the political hacks and legacy media would rather point fingers at President Trump, which really tells you where their loyalties lie, because it makes zero sense to me why they're choosing to get angry at him for reacting to the unfair asymmetrical tariffs levied against us, and not the countries who started or benefit from them. But let me know what you think. Can you recall CNN ever covering Biden's economy fairly? Or was it the usual 24/7 gaslighting? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye!